Hello, welcome to AEDT 4120, Serious Gaming and Simulations, Week 5, Learning Theories, Part 3 of 3. I'm the course instructor, Stephanie Fisher, and over the next few minutes we'll be discussing expertise. However, prior to doing so, here's the list of analysis questions for this particular video clip. Number 1, what is expertise? Number 2, how is expertise developed? Number 3, what are the 5 steps of the Dreyfus model of expertise? Number 4, what is the shortcoming of the Dreyfus model as it originally appeared? In addition to these learning theories, it's also important to recognize the development of expertise and its impact on any simulated exercise. Expertise may be considered as the endpoint in a stepwise development of cognitive, psychomotor, and affective skills. Over the next couple of slides, we will consider the 5 levels of development of expertise from novice to expert. Any experiences in a simulation should be delivered and modeled in accordance with the levels of expertise expected of the learner. We begin with a look at the Dreyfus model of skill acquisition. The model is based on a report by Hubert Dreyfus and Stuart Dreyfus in the early 1980s called a 5-stage model of the mental activities involved in directed skill acquisition. This study was prepared initially for the Air Force Office of Scientific Research for the training of pilots, but its model and purpose have been used effectively for training everyone from pilots to nurses to chess players, foreign language learners, and even computer programmers through formal instruction. The Dreyfus model is used fairly widely to provide a means of assessing and supporting progress in the development of skills or competencies, and to provide a definition of acceptable level for the assessment of competence or capability. The original model proposes that a student passes through 5 distinct stages: novice, advanced beginner, competent, proficient, and expert. In the novice stage, a person follows rules as given, without context, with no sense of responsibility beyond following the rules exactly. In other words, a novice does what they're told. In the advanced beginning stage, the learner is able to achieve some steps using their own judgment, but supervision is still required for the overall task. They start to see that the once discrete actions that they were doing as a novice now become a series of steps and they develop a working knowledge of the key ideas of practice. The third level, competence, develops when the individual develops organizing principles to quickly access the particular rules that are relevant to the specific task at hand. In other words, competence is characterized by active decision making in choosing a course of action. Competent learners have a good working background knowledge of the area of practice and view their actions at least partly in terms of longer-term goals. At the proficient level, proficiency is shown by individuals who develop intuition to guide their decisions and devise their own rules to formulate plans. They are able to take full responsibility for their own work, deal with complex situations holistically, make decisions confidently, and see an overall picture and how their individual actions fit within it. Finally, as an expert, the learner will have authoritative knowledge and a deep tacit understanding across different areas of practice. Experts can move between intuitive and analytical approaches with each and are able to take responsibility for going beyond what is standard or creating new interpretations. Experts not only see the overall picture, but also alternative approaches or visions of what may be possible. The expert level does not signify that development stops, as expert practitioners need to evaluate their practice to keep up to date with new evidence. The progression in the Dreyfus model is thus from this rigid adherence to rules to an intuitive mode of reasoning based on tacit knowledge. Becoming an expert involves moving from one stage to the next, and the learner becomes more autonomous in the process. During in-depth interviews carried out in the 1980s with the creators of the model, Oxford professor Bent Floetbjerg problematized the fact that the Dreyfus model in its original form does not account for innovation, i.e., how new skills come into being and outcompete old ones. This lack in the original model makes it relatively undynamic and unable to grasp skill acquisition in full, according to Floetbjerg, who proposed as a remedy a 6th stage for innovation. Although this was originally rejected by the creators of the model, later on Hubert Dreyfus embraced another stage, that of master, to take into account innovation and practical wisdom in the model. This last stage, where one is a master, is really much like an expert on a role. Sometimes you may have witnessed someone or spent time with someone who is so good at something and gets so caught up in doing it that you can't help but feel you're watching a genius at work. Practicing at this level or degree of virtuosity or genius can lead to innovation in practices. This concludes Week 5 on Learning Theories. Please consider the following questions on expertise for the tutorial discussion. Number 1. Where does simulation and serious games fit best within the Dreyfus model? Number 2. Describe the use of simulation and serious games within each of the 5 stages of the model. Number 3. How can simulation and serious gaming fit into the additional 6th step of the Dreyfus model? That would be master and innovation.